How's it going, everybody? And we are back with another Destiny video. Now, in this video, we are going to be talking about the Destiny Year 3 hotfix that we received earlier today. Um, in this hotfix that we received, we got quite the change in weapon balancing. Uh, High rate of fire weapons, which were, probably the most popular weapons for Year 3, got quite the nerf. Low rate of fire weapons got quite the buff. Shit ass weapons became even more shitty. I'm looking at you, Universal Remote. Uh, so on and so forth. There was all kinds of nerfs with today's hotfix. And due to that, some of you might be thinking, what weapons are best for PvP now? Tonight, I went ahead and I did some testing to figure that out for you guys. I only really used pulse rifles and auto rifles for this video. I'm not going to be touching hand cannons right now or any secondary weapons, so that might be saved for another video. Now, while doing these testings, I simply used primary weapons. I didn't use secondaries, I didn't use heavies, no melees or grenades or anything like that. I only used primaries to, come up with the best results that I could. There's about 8 weapons that I'm going to be covering in this video, so let's get to it. The first weapon that we're going to be talking about is a Year 2 Iron Banner weapon, the Nerwin's Mercy. This gun came with Counterbalance, Braced Frame, and Feeding Frenzy. Now, I actually bought this gun off of Lord Saladin in Year 2 because I never got it to drop for me in Banner. I never got out of the packages, I never got an endgame results, nothing. So I had a result of buying it off him towards the end of Year 2 Iron Banner when he was finally selling it. And I really enjoyed it then, and quite frankly, I loved it now when I was testing tonight. As a matter of fact, this was the gun that I did the best with. I think I did a single round testing it out, and I wound up with 15 kills with it. It handled extremely well. The damage is very good for a slow rate of fire weapon. You do have to take your time with it, however. If you go to rush things, you're probably not going to have the best accuracy you can possibly get with it. I personally took my time with it, and I was getting precision kills like crazy. It was a very good weapon. I really enjoyed using it, and I definitely recommend you guys to try it for Year 3 after this hotfix. Moving on, we're going to be talking about the Prithian shot. My Prithian shot, I bought this off the vendor in the tower. And you guys can do that too. Some of the perks that you can use on this weapon after you buy it are Rodeo, Perfect Balance, and Head Seeker. Now, I never really used this weapon much before in Year 3. I got it a couple times earlier, and I think I used it maybe once or twice in PvE, and I wasn't terribly thrilled with it, but I went ahead, gave it a shot for this PvP. After the hotfix, it's decent. It's not terribly impressive. I was actually getting outshot a lot by hand cannons such as AS Luna and Hawkmoon. Using this gun, I think I did a single round using this weapon. I think I wound up with about 8 or 9 kills. So, it's okay. It's nothing to brag about. If it's a gun that you're used to, because I know before this hotfix, people used it a lot and did fairly well with it, you're probably going to end up liking it more now than before. But this isn't a gun that I personally would choose over others. The next weapon that I tried using was the Hopscotch Pilgrim. Now, the roll that I have on this weapon has Counterbalance, Perfect Balance, and Glass Half Full. I really enjoyed using this gun tonight. It handled very well. It definitely handled better than the Parthian shot. But there was one little thing about it that I kind of have to complain about. And there seemed to be a little bit of inconsistency with the damage. And what I mean by that is I'd be going up against certain guys and I'd two burst them and take good chunk of their health away from them. And then a little bit later, I'd be going against that same guy later, and two burst them, and I'd take maybe a quarter of their health off of them. I don't know if they had shields running at that time, or it was the weapon itself. I'm not entirely sure. The gun itself handles well. It performs decent damage, but there just seemed to be a little bit of inconsistencies there. If you used this gun before and enjoyed using it, I'd recommend using it again. I enjoyed it. After that, I went ahead and used the Kvalstov. Now, for this, I did the fully automatic version of it. And I've got to say, I was quite impressed with this. I did about 2 rounds with it. And I think my best score, I wound up with about 12 or 13 kills with this gun. Do not use the pulse rifle version of this. I tried around with that, and I absolutely hated it. The fully automatic version is definitely the way to go. Now, with this gun, towards when it first got re-released for year 3, I hated it. I thought you couldn't get any damage with it whatsoever. I just thought it was a garbage gun. But when I was using it tonight after this hotfix, I was actually kind of melting people pretty easily with it. So I was very happy with it. It's absolutely a gun I'm probably going to end up pulling out again at some point to see if I have the same results with it. So if this is a gun that you would be interested in trying it out, I would definitely say, go ahead. Going on from there, we are going to be talking about the Grim Citizen. The Grim Citizen, with the rule that I have on this, has focused fire, perfect balance, and Eye of the Storm. Now, when I first got this gun in year 2, I didn't use it a whole lot, but I pulled it every once in a while, and I liked it for the most part. So I thought, after this hotfix with the buff of the slower rate of fire weapons, that, this might become one of my new main weapons for PvP. So I was pretty excited to use it, and I finally got to it, and I absolutely hated it. I hated the handling. The damage was a little bit ridiculous in trying to get off on people. I don't remember this weapon being so slow. I just did not enjoy this weapon at all. I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was the people I was playing against. It just wasn't a good experience. If you guys enjoy using this gun, you can go ahead and give it a try yourself. I personally would not recommend this for year 3 after this hotfix. It just wasn't good for me. Going on next, we're going to be talking about the Shadow Price. The rule that I have for this Shadow Price has crowd control, armor-piercing rounds, and glass half full. Now, when I got this weapon back in year 2 after the April update, I was thrilled, because I never got it in year 1, and I always wanted to. So once I finally got it in year 2, I was ecstatic, and this was my main PvP weapon after the April update for quite a while. And I did fairly well with it, so I was really excited to pull it back out after this hotfix, knowing that slow rate of fire auto rifles were going to be getting a buff. With this gun, I was a little bit torn about it. It performs a lot better than the Grim Citizen, but it just doesn't seem to do the job. By that I mean, the impact just didn't seem to be there. I'd be unloading a clip in the guy, and it'd take forever to kill him. So, the Shadow Price, you can go ahead and try it out if you want to, but it wouldn't be my main go-to for year 3 after this year hotfix. After that, we went ahead and tried the Extremophile. Now, the rule that I have on this weapon has high caliber rounds, small bore, and rangefinder. I had an Extremophile earlier in year 3 that had high caliber rounds, counterbalance, and perfect balance. And for a while, that was my main PvP weapon. I absolutely loved it. I wrecked with it all the time. And then I wound up getting a clever dragon with high caliber rounds to drop in Iron Banner. And after that, that became my main weapon. Yes, I was one of those people with the clever dragon with high caliber rounds that probably pissed you off all the time. Um, so after I got that weapon, I actually accidentally infused that extremophile with a different weapon. I thought I was using a different one that I had in the vault. Turned out it wound up being my good roll one. So luckily, I wound up getting this one to drop that also had a decent roll. So I was pretty excited to try this out again after this hotfix. And once I tried this gun, I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was the servers. It might have been the fact that I was starting to get burnout because at this point I've been playing the game for over 2 hours. But man, I just could not get anything with this gun. I just wasn't performing well. So I don't really want to recommend or not recommend this gun because I know that it, at least in the past, it could perform well. After this hotfix, I don't know. What I would do is ask you guys to try this out and let me know what you think, because for me, I know it can be a good gun, but tonight it just wasn't working for me. So I don't really have a clear-cut opinion on it. The final weapon that I used tonight is the Year 2 Iron Banner auto rifle, the Hakon's Hatchet. The roll I have on this gun is Persistence, Armor-Piercing Rounds, and Eye of the Storm. A decent roll, nothing, fantastic. However, when I got this gun in Year 2, it was one of my main weapons in PvP. I absolutely loved it, and I went against a bunch of people that loved this weapon as well, because they also used it all the time. Funny thing is that this gun was probably the gun that I did the second best with tonight. I think I did a single round with about 13 or 14 kills with this weapon. The funny thing about that is the two weapons I performed best with tonight were Year 2 weapons, not Year 3. This gun, just like the Nirwan's Mercy, obviously the stability isn't as great, but it still handles very well. The damage is decent, and I was, definitely holding my own with this weapon. It's a very, very good gun. So it's absolutely a weapon that if you still have it, I'd recommend that you pull it back out and, jump into the Crucible with it, because you're probably to have a good time. So, basing off of these weapons that I just reviewed, in order, what I would recommend from the best gun to the worst would be Nirwan's Mercy, Hakon's Hatchet, Hopscotch Pilgrim, the Kvalstov, Parthian Shot, Extremophile, Shadow Price, and Grim Citizen. Other than that, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.